Yeah, baby, yeah!
G'day YouTubers, I'm Dodger Mohr and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be installing new brake and clutch levers. They're actually shorter than the ones that are existing, and yeah, they're an aftermarket brand called EVO1-Racing, and they're supplied through Radguard. Why? Yeah, looking at these clutch and gear levers, we'll just look at the clutch one. They're pretty well the same. They're pretty big actually, and when you go to use your two fingers and you're pulling the clutch in, your other two fingers get actually in the way. So that's one reason, and the other reason is that I've got some bark busters that I want to put on this, and I just think that that's actually going to get in the way of the bark busters. So yeah, and plus I think the new ones will look better. So what do you think? Okay, these are the EVO1-Racing clutch and brake levers for the Kawasaki Versys X 300. They're pretty good quality. I'm really happy with them. Nice little logo on there. They're adjustable. They're pretty well made. They're pretty solid and rugged, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. That's the actual clutch one, and they did say that I might have to use some parts from the original clutch, and I think it'll be probably to do with the pivot point. But yeah, again, it is adjustable as well. They are very nice finish, and they're solid. Okay, before we start installing the brake and clutch lever, let's have a look at the tools that are required to do the job. You will need some grease, screwdriver, which I'm going to be using to apply the grease in the little holes there, because there's no way I'm going to get my finger in there. 10 mils spanner, and another little 10 mil here, and another 10 mil on the socket there as well, on the socket set. Okay, so we'll start with the brake one first. To remove the brake lever, we have a 10 mil pivot bolt from the top and a 10 mil lock nut on the bottom. First you need to release the lock nut on the bottom, and as you do that, just take note of the torque. So when it comes to reinstalling the new brake lever, you know how much to tighten it to. And then once you've taken the lock nut off, we need to take the actual bolt out. Okay, let's look at the comparison between the original one, which is this one here, and the aftermarket one, which is this one here. It's a slightly shorter, as you can see. Now, the most important thing to do is check to make sure that they are compatible, and as you can see, they're actually identical where we actually mounted to the handlebars. So yeah, that is the first thing that you want to do. The next thing you want to do is just inspect the area where the actual brake lever goes in. This little switch here is your rear brake light switch, and that is where that is for the master cylinder, where when you apply the brakes, it actually presses onto that. So it's a good opportunity to inspect it and see how it all works. So before we install the brake lever, we need to lubricate certain areas, and I'm just going to use a screwdriver and basically just apply some lubricant or grease in the actual pivot hole, And you also will need to apply some, just a little bit of grease, just to smear it around the actual ring around there, and also on the other side. And just a little bit on the actual tip here, which is where it will make contact with the master cylinder. Okay, so let's put the brake lever in. As you can see, it fits into there. Now what you need to ensure is that it comes in contact with the brake lights switch, and the little knob is pushing up against the master cylinder. So now we just need to position the bolt from the top. Just tighten it up nice and firm. Now you can hear that little bit of a clicking noise. That's activating your brake light. So you got to make sure that that's actually working. Okay, now for the nut. Just nice and firm. So that is your brake lever done. So before you take out for a ride, just make sure first that little clicking noise, that's for your rear brake light, and also just dial in the ergonomics for yourself. If you want to, because it's adjustable, you can actually bring it in closer, so that's now closer, and if you want to take it out further, it's dialed up to number 6. That was easy enough. Now let's go to the clutch side. So on the clutch side, it's more or less a very similar install to the brake, apart from the clutch cable. So the first thing you will need to do is loosen the clutch cable, and then after that, again, we've got a 10mm bolt to take out and a 10mm lock nut to take out. So first we want to take this lock nut off the cable, the clutch cable, and then we want to loosen that by screwing that inwards. And as you can see, the clutch lever is now moving inwards. Okay, it's a little bit awkward getting in underneath, but yeah, just loosen it up. Need to use a spanner on the top as well. Okay. Now to remove the bolt. Probably make the job easier if I move the mirror out the way, but I'll persist this way. So you want to line up these two lines here so you can get the cable out. So you want to pull the clutch cable out, which I've now got out. And now it's just a matter of wiggling it out. Okay, done. Yeah, once again, just compare the two. That's the old one and that's the new one. Most importantly is to make sure that everything is matched up the same. And yeah, identical. Okay, let's familiarise ourselves with where it gets mounted. Okay, so that screw is actually coming in from the top there, or the bolt that goes down, the pivot bolt. This here is a little switch here for your clutch, and that's where your cable's coming through from here. Okay, let's grease up the clutch lever. So the areas that we're going to grease up will be the pivot point, which is here. And another area that we want to apply grease is where the cable's actually going in, so just in there. And once again, I just want to smear some grease around there and around that part there as well. And just wipe off any excess. Okay. So first things you want to do is you want to actually get that cable into that area and then pull it around to the side there. So it goes in like that and around, and then you want to spin that around like this. And then get the clutch into its area, and then you want to feed the cable through here like so, and then we're going to put the bolt through. When positioning the bolt into place, you need to make sure that the clutch switch is slightly pushed in, or it's engaging the clutch pin or clutch switch, whatever you want to call it. Now tighten it up. Just want to tighten that up, just firm. Okay, just put the nut back in again. And then just tighten that up to a firm setting. Okay, just wipe off all excess grease, and then just do a bit of an inspection before you tighten up the cable. As you can see, it's pretty loose and needs to be brought back a fair bit. So yeah, now it comes to adjusting the cable. It's just a matter of dialing that back out again. As you can see, it's pulling the lever back out. Now you want to have a little bit of play in there. And then just use the lock nut to lock it into position. Before you go and take it out for a ride, you just want to make sure you'll see this little pin in here. That's for your clutch, just down there. So yeah, just make sure everything's working fine. Yeah, just play around with the, you want to have a little bit of play there. So like the brake side, you've got a little adjuster here which you can dial it in or dial it out. So the best thing to do is sit down and work out exactly where you would like it. Well, YouTubers, another job completed with my upgrades. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. In my next video, I'll most likely be installing bark busters. So until next time, take care, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.